It's Stephanie, and I hope everybody can see us. And she is a very, very special person. I mean, she has wears so many hats and excels at so many things. It's just amazing. And so, without any, wasting anyone's time, I will let her actually introduce herself, and then we will jump right into the thick of things that people have joined us for.
Thank you so much. This is so sweet. What a nice introduction. So, my name is Stephanie Perrault, and I'm originally coming from France. I've been living in the US for about 27 years now, and I have a marketing agency. So, this is the reason why I'm here in the Silicon Valley because we help young startups. So, we work with young startups and we help them to get traction. So, we help them and we start with from the bootstrap to the seed until they are able to raise money, and then we keep working with them. But our specialty is really to help them to get traction, to make sure that they can identify their target audience and make sure their messaging is aligns and the product aligns with their target audience, so they can go on the market and get traction. So then when they go in front of the investor, then they look quite polished, and they have a better chance to be successful at raising money.
So if you are in the market, start a founder and looking for some help, you know where to go. So actually, just before we started, like Stephanie was telling me about her day and how she starts her day at 6:30.
Yes.
So Stephanie, you just want to walk us through how your day.
So, but the main reason is because so all our content creator, our office is in Marrakesh, in Morocco. So we have 9 hours of difference. So they start late. They start like at 2:30, and so before last week we had 8 hour difference, but here we change time, and over there they don't change time.
Yeah.
So that makes it 9 hours. So they start at 2:30. So then I'm at the office. I start at about 6:30 for most of the days, and so I work for until about maybe 2:30 in the afternoon, and then after I do maybe one or two events. One like late afternoon, and then there is a lot of them that are in the evening. In the Silicon Valley, there is like two or three or four more events, every day. Maybe Sunday is a bit more relaxed, but there is, a hackathon also going on. So sometimes I like to participate to hackathon.
There you go. She does events. She's in office at 6:30. She does hackathons. I mean, what more can someone ask for? I mean, it's just amazing what she can do in a day. Most people do in a week probably. Anyways, Stephanie, we were talking about GuideTex that you attended recently in Dubai, and you just want to kind of talk us through some of the reasons why you wanted to go there and what you found out. What were some of the learnings? What are some of the expectations that were met, and some of the things that you found were not for you, and things of that nature? So that, because I know that a lot of people, listeners, who want to know more about this big 200,000 attendee conference in Dubai, and who is it good for, and what to do about it, how to go about, being a part of it.
So for me, it was my first time I attended GITEX, and the main reason why I went there is also because at our office in Morocco, everybody speak English, French, and also Arabic, except for me. I'm the only one who doesn't speak Arabic at the office. But so we do understand the cultures and the languages. So the main reason why I went to attend GITEX in Dubai was because I wanted to see and how we can expand our market to the Middle East and also to MENA. So that was I was very much anticipating it because I heard a lot about it in the Silicon Valley, and it's such a huge event. I think it's one of the biggest of the world. They were expecting 200,000 people. I think I saw on the internet like 180,000 came, so it's pretty big. And so this event is divided into two places in Dubai. Is North Star, which was at the Arab Harbor, and the other one was at the Convention Center and was GITEX. But it's the same organization. It's just two different events that are going on about the same time. So North Star is really much about the startup, and so it's a lot of smaller booths and people from all over the world. Like really, it was just amazing. And because Dubai is, really like in the middle of Asia, Africa, and Europe. So that was great. I think the nationality that were the less represented were, from South America and like the Americas, because of the distance. It's quite, 15-hour flight and 11 hours difference. So that's brutal.
So, I mean, would you recommend this for a lot of people who are trying to get to Middle East, North Africa region, or would you be more the people need to think through some other issues before they decide to attend?
So it's really depend of the strategic. So this one was basically worldwide and also centered for Middle East. But they have coming next, and it was also last year in 2023 in Morocco, in Marrakesh. This one was for Africa specifically, and they have it again next year in 2024, which I will attend because our office is in Marrakesh.
Oh wow!
So but this one is really centered to Africa. So MENA and Africa.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. I mean, and in terms of the companies that come there, they're mostly middle-sized, small, or like big corporates, or all of them?
So you have both. So Jitex is more like big corporate, and it's very like the booths are amazing. I've never seen booths so beautiful. It's like like the technology that are within the booths. There were like a lot of booths with 3D technology. That was very impressive. Lots of arts, and it was great to go. It was not really my target audience, but I went because I was curious, and I got plenty for my eyes. It was great, but North Star was really where for me was just fantastic. I met so many people that I'm working on right now. It was just a couple of weeks after Jitex and North Star, so. But lots of great connection, people that I'm, collaborating with, and I was even able to meet with an investor that I could introduce to a startup I'm working with. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, you were just mentioning that your LinkedIn connections went up substantially.
Yes. So
it's definitely a good place to build networks.
Yes, it is, but it's like for me, I really privilege quality. So it's not just meeting people, but it's also the key of the business is in the follow-up. So being able to keep reaching out and having meeting, even if it's on Zoom, it doesn't matter at this point because having like the first meeting, and even during Jitex, there is some company that I met a couple of times. So I went there for 2 weeks. The event is about 5 days. So just to make sure that after the event, if there is any other people or people that I need to meet again, just to create those connection and being able to work together. So that's super important. So the big work is really in the follow-up. It's not just going over there. So making sure to have a strategy when you do your follow-up.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, I think the real work is in the follow-up and follow-up, and then trying to drum up business from the follow-ups, because just the initial handshake is good.
Yes.
But you have to get it to a point where it becomes a business relationship more than just a
because
handshake.
everybody, a lot of people, and it's really easy to meet a lot of people, to talk to a lot of people, to get a lot of connection. But if nothing is done after that, then I don't think any business will happen.
Right.
You have to look like out of the box. You're thinking out of the box, and you reach out to them again and again and again. And so I've been pretty successful with it, but it's a lot of work. So
if people want tips on the show and what works, what doesn't, Stephanie is on LinkedIn, and her name is spelled right there, as you can see on the screen. And if you just look her up on LinkedIn, you will find her, and she'll be happy to answer our questions.
Of course, yes. Come and meet me at Jitex. It's I think May 15 in 2024, and then they will have Jitex for Europe in Berlin in 2025. So
wow, okay.
Yes.
So there you go. That's our schedule for Jitex, 24 March. May
So yeah, May
May
15th, May
okay,
15th.
May 15th in
Yes,
Marrakesh in
yes,
Morocco, and then in 2025 in Berlin.
yes.
So so
So
that's
I like that they are very strategic. Just not have a Gidex for worldwide, but being able to focus on continents. I think.
yeah. I think the business environment post corona pandemic has changed quite a bit now, and I think these guys may be doing a fantastic job of capturing the business interest in a show to connect people with each other. Uh,
Yes, yes. No, they
yeah.
keep on growing. I heard like they are constructing uh, a new building to be
Wow.
able to host GITEX because so last year they were able to have everything under the um, convention center in Dubai, but this year they have to have the North Star at the harbor because
Wow.
every year they have like, I think 20-30% more people coming and they have to be able to handle it. Like this year they had to close the street
Wow.
and they were telling everybody, come with the metro, don't take a car, you won't have any parking space. It's going to take 2 hours to get in if you get a car. So I'm glad I heard that. Then I took the metro like everyone, it was fine.
Yeah,
Yes,
Dubai, I think metro
yes,
works.
yeah,
It's on
it's
time.
fast, and so
Yeah.
they even opened the door to the metro. We didn't have to scan our
Oh wow.
ticket just so the flow could go. Like so,
Wow.
yeah, I was very impressed. Super organized.
Oh,
Yeah, lots of
mm,
manpower and making sure that people who are coming were
yeah.
invited to Dubai
Wow.
that have a good experience, and I think they were very successful with that.
Wow, wow, wow. That's
Yes,
amazing. That's amazing. So, Stephanie, just to kind of shift gears a little bit, Ayurveda.
yes,
So let's actually talk about that and, walk us through your journey, Stephanie without Ayurveda, and then what is the trigger that gets you into Ayurveda, and then, walk us through like what were the various things that you found to be fascinating or things that changed your perspective on life. So let's, if that's okay, let's just walk through the day before Ayurveda for Stephanie, and then the journey from that point on, the trigger. Like, what is it that she gets up in the morning, Stephanie gets up in the morning, and like, oh, I'm drinking my coffee. Oh, maybe I should look at Ayurveda. Did it happen that way? So let's
no,
just,
no. It's even though I met Ayurveda, but I would say about 2005, 2006. That's when I did my first panchakarma. But I was raised in France, in the country, and food was really important, but not just food, the quality of food. So and garden, and my mother was very animated about making sure that we were fed with qualities, not just the French cooking. But so I was very blessed with that, and I think the reason why I have such a good health must be something that has to do with how I was raised, and then we just repeat what our parents are doing to us, whether it's good or bad. But that was part of the good that it's for me. It's that's how I live. I've always believed that food is the first medicine, and this is what Ayurveda is about: is being able to balance our body, and that goes through what we see, what we hear, and also how we feed ourselves. It goes through the five senses,
yes.
but what we eat is super important, and how we eat it. So I think it started at a very young age, and this is why when I found Ayurveda, it for me it was just an extension of who I already believed, but it's just uh, going deeper into it. So in 2020, I started to study Ayurvedic medicine just by passion. And maybe one day I will do something with it, but for now I just practice for myself and for my family and people that I love. But I find it very useful in life, especially so. My favorite thing when I studied Ayurveda was psychology. I think Ayurveda is so powerful healing for psychology, for mental illness, and and the way they we can through Ayurveda identify how people function, because we all have it's like a blueprint. We are born with the 5 elements within us, and we all manifest them differently. So there is not one person who are the same blueprint within the 5 elements. And so we can clearly see that in psychology, and there is part of it that we can see physically, part of it that, we need to know more about the digestive system and things that are happening more internally and how people sleep and all that. But there is a good part that is just physical. So a practitioner of Ayurveda, it's really much like martial arts. It's not because you know what's in the book that you can be good at martial art. It's really in the practice. So the younger you start, and it's the better you're at it. So I started quite late. So, and I just know what's in the book. I don't have a lot of practice, but I really try to focus on psychology, and when I see people, I can have like Ayurveda helped me to get to know myself better, and also to see the signs of me when I get unbalanced, but also to, when I look at a startup team, to see how they interact together, and where it is balanced and where it isn't balanced, and what people need to do to be the better person that they can be.
What are some of the signs of being unbalanced? Like, well, how do you know that you feel that you are not in balance?
So, but stress is an imbalance, and feeling happy and feeling content is a sign of being balanced. So it's really much about being able to listen to ourselves and to know ourselves. And there's lots of practice. It's not just the food. It's also being able to do, like, to stop and to empty our mind, and maybe through meditation or through yoga. And there is like tons of different meditation. So it's really much being able to identify what works best for the person. And yoga is a sister science of Ayurveda. So yoga is more like the spiritual part of it. So each yoga position originally were made for meditation. So also today in the Western world, it's practiced a little bit differently. But I think those two practices can be very helpful when people work in an environment that can be stressful and that can be demanding, especially for the mind. So being able to know those science is really helpful, and to practice.
No, and Stephanie, you were also mentioning about, like, a person who is a leader, how is they different than a salesperson maybe versus someone who is a developer or a technical person, and how different Pita and everything else, like, how does it all come together to create these different people? That's how I understood. Maybe I'm all wrong. Maybe so educate me and people as well.
So I think working as a team for a startup. So if we have too many leaders, like too many captains in one boat, which is Pitta is usually the leader, and there is a lot of Pitta. There is a lot of Pitta is fire and water, and there is a lot of fire in the startup environment, which is a good thing when it's balanced. But if you have too many people in the boat that want to be captain, that can be also a conflict. But and we have those five elements within us. And the 5 elements are in everything within the world. They are in the tree, they are in that table, they are in everything. It's all about finding the balance, and it's the same for a team. So it's good to have people that are in leadership and that are the drivers, but it's also good to have people that are just like, hey, let's take a break and let's think a bit more about it. Like, let's not make a decision that fast, and maybe let's look at other options. So those people are more like Kappa, so which is earth and water. So we all need each other, and I think to like, when I see like the team working together, I can tell when there is a good balance. Like, sometimes I will have like a good Pitta, and then I will have like another, like, is a Kappa, and like they are co-founded together, and they're doing well. It's never perfect. Like Ayurveda doesn't look for perfection; it looks for balance, because the world put us constantly unbalanced. It's like the gymnastic when we wake up every day and our body get unbalanced. It's just not to go into the extreme. And I think looking through the eyes of Ayurveda, with the startup environment and the team. It's really important because a team that can be at the best as they can, the best people that they can be, we produce a lot better than a team that is constantly fighting. And investors are really looking at that in today's world, because it's not just about the idea. It's a lot depends on how the team are going to execute and do well together, and or the leadership.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, so I mean, one way to look at what Stephanie just said is that before product market fit is team market fit, and what you described is a good balanced team
Yes,
of founders that can actually be a good fit for any market. And if the team is out of whack, is not in balance,
yes,
then it doesn't matter what your idea is. And as she points out, that it's not about idea, it's about the team and the execution by the team, because idea don't execute on their own.
hmm,
And I think that's where using some of the Ayurveda basics, maybe I'm not an expert, but some of the principles of Ayurveda
yes,
can help.
to identify, to identify and see, how we can work together better, how we can balance each other.
Yeah,
And I think at the end of the day, it's the person who is the leadership,
yeah,
like the captain of the boat, the
yeah,
CEO.
yeah.
And it's important that even if they don't know what's going on, but they can see that it's doesn't go very well, it's to be able to reach out to someone that can help, and they can see that and help them identify, because CEO, they cannot know everything about
Yes.
psychology, about
Yeah.
leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So having the right person that is next to
Mm-hmm.
them for mentoring, for coaching, can really make a difference for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's absolutely great. So, in term, you mentioned, some of the principles of Ayurveda, and you mentioned about, how you can use it for some of the team and principles and things like that, and even use it for your personally.
Yes.
And so, I mean, are there, so someone who's trying to um, tip their toes in the Ayurveda waters, so to speak, what should be their first few steps along this, to figure out if they want to look at Ayurveda a little bit more deeper?
Like looking at a startup through the eyes of Ayurveda.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really much studying the elements. So if you look at the fire, fire is warm, fire is sharp, and fire can, if you add air, then fire can go faster also. But maybe, too much air, it could be
Interesting.
an explosion.
No, no, we don't want
Or way
explosion.
too much air could just blow out the fire.
Okay.
So it's really like when you look at the element that you can see, you can that's really the reflection of how we look at them through Ayurveda. So if you look at earth, like an earth that is like earth and water, if they're in balance, that's mud, and people get stuck. So an unbalanced kapha, which is earth and water, so that can bring depression. And with pitta, with fire, if it's unbalanced, that's very judgmental and very critical. And with vata, which is air and ether, then that's anxiety. Anxiety is the emptiness.
Mm.
So it's really studying the elements and see what they are when they are balanced, because there is no bad or good element. It's all about being balanced. And we have all of them within us. We just have dominant. Like me, I have a dominant of fire. So I can see the signals, and I'm like, okay, let's have a little break. let's ground a little bit. So I would do like some meditation or grounding position. But yeah, it's studying just the elements, and just like the way you can help yourself is just to go with the opposite. But also to get, an Ayurvedic practitioner to work with you could be something really good, of someone who has some notion about, the medicine.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's not always about herbal supports, and it's it's first what you do. It's the routine that you have every day that needs to be adjusted. Ayurveda is a lifestyle, so it's not just because you're going to do it today that things are going to change and be better. It's really creating habits.
Ah, interesting. So it's something like you can incorporate that with yoga and meditation and walking
Yes.
and running and playing tennis and
Nutritions, and
nutrition and
yes, and also to try to look at everything instead of the glass being half full. it's the glass being no, sorry, half empty. It's the glass being half full. It's really to to get the habit within, just to see things, you know, even sometimes it's not the best situation, but to look at, you know, how can I make it, how can I turn that, how can I change it, and what are the lessons that I need to learn. Because me personally, I know if I don't learn the lessons, it's going to come back into you know, into a different ways, whether it's business or it's my private life. So it's really like always ask me those questions, like what do I need to learn from it. That's very important.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yes.
that's some great pointers, Stephanie. I mean, I think if people can take some of the stuff you just said and maybe dig a little deeper, and they can definitely get some, use out of it, not just professionally, but personally, and even as part of organization. It doesn't need to be a startup, right? I mean,
No,
the same
yeah.
principles apply even in a
Yes.
Google or Apple or something huge, right?
Yes, no, it's coming from within, like knowing ourselves. I think it's the greatest gift that we can have, because that's how we can be the best possible person be, and then we can contribute to the world. We can bring that to the business.
Excellent. I mean,
So
yeah. I mean, so guys, you heard Stephanie just give us some great feedback on some of the things of Ayurveda and its usefulness, and as she's on LinkedIn. You can connect with her and talk to her about tons of topics that she likes to talk in, and any last words before we wrap up, or
So last word, I would say we are humans having we are soul spirits having a human experience. So don't be too hard on yourself, and just take a one step at a time, and just stay positive, because I think at the end of the day, everything is possible. Whether it's business, whether it's health, everything is possible. We have to be believers. That's where we start.
So, on those beautiful words, I don't want to add anything more to that. Thank you so much for listening in, and subscribe and like this channel, and we will see each other again next time. Thank you.